Hey guys, I'm Harriet Rose. Make sure you follow By the Way podcast to keep in the loop with every single one of our incredible guests. Now let's get on with the pod. I'm Harriet Rose.
I'm Jordan Banjo. And by the way, I'm trying to be more positive.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm trying, Haz. I'm really trying.
Break a habit of a lifetime?
Mr. Negativity over here.
Okay, well, let's actually break this down because first and foremost, thrilled to have you here.
Oh, do you know what's funny? It's weird being on your podcast and acting like we haven't been friends for over half a decade.
Yeah.
Sounds way longer when you say over half a decade.
It really does sound really
Yeah, it
impactful,
does sound
actually.
long. That we wasn't doing a breakfast show together. That, like, I would say career-wise, one of, the most monumental moves for me within weeks of being there.
Me.
Have involved you? No, genuinely, they have. Like, that's what's funny.
I'm
like,
not saying it,
part.
but it potentially is me that is the good luck totem.
Mother over here.
Yeah, mother. Can I just say though, that is actually it is over half a decade, but also it was during the pandemic, which I think makes it a decade.
Yeah.
Because like you and Pell were basically the only two people that I shared breath with for two years.
Unmasked breath, raw breath.
Raw breath with each other and it was honestly, thank goodness, because I was on my own in the pandemic. You guys honestly saved me. You saved my life.
We were really there for each other, man. Really
we were.
there.
That was a wild ride.
Yes.
Talking of positivity, Pete, I feel like I know this about you because I've known you for such a long time, but do you think the general population know how negative you are?
No, and I think that's what's hilarious. I think that when I say general population, it makes me sound like I'm flipping, Timothy Chalamet or something that everyone knows who I am.
Sorry, but every time we walk down the street together, it is a king nightmare.
Yeah, because everyone thinks they've just seen Ashley Banjo. That's why. I was like, oh my God, Ashley! I'm like, wrong one.
I love Britain's Got Talent.
I'm like, sorry, wrong one. But yeah, no. So I would say quite a few people either think it's me or Ash, but would recognise me, right?
If it makes you feel better, I don't know who Ashley Banjo is.
There you go. None of us do. And we shouldn't, really. That being said, it's a weird one because I think a lot of the content or the view of me is like me, you and Pell on Kiss Breakfast. A lot of it's high energy. When a lot of people feel like, oh, we're up, we're there, having a laugh, we're doing this, we're doing that. And even though we banter and have jokes about where I'm the negative one to Pell's. Yeah. Generally in life, I think that for the last few years, I would say since my kids have been born, I have actively tried to go, and it's taken a lot of thought, right? And a long process coming around, which I'm sure we'll get into and dig further into, but trying to not see everything as like a task to be completed and then just be done. Like just try and take stock of life.
Okay.
Even for example, like this podcast is essentially, it's recorded, it's being put out, there'll probably be clips, but it's genuinely two friends having I haven't seen you in a little while since I left Kiss Breakfast. Yeah. It's going to be two friends having a catch up, shooting the shit, having a laugh, and it will hopefully be entertaining. Yeah. Right? Enjoy that for this moment. Don't you see it as this is another thing I'm coming into. Do it well, make Harriet laugh, make sure the audience enjoy it, then go home and start the next thing, which is normally how I see everything.
Yeah, and that's so interesting.
And it's such a slight shift of focus because really the end product will be the same, hopefully. If anything, it should be better if I just try and enjoy it.
I actually think it is better.
But it's just that slight shift of the lens there that kind of makes it makes even the process more enjoyable rather than, okay, so once I do this, I'll get in the car and then I'll make that call to set up the next thing and make sure that's done, which is just how everything's been for as long as I can remember. So that's how I see life, really.
Do you think that's because you're from like a Von Trapp family? the Von Trapp family banjos. But like you are from like a celebrity dynasty family.
Do you know what's weird? I think when it comes to family, and this is something that I'd probably only ever speak to, even though it's going out, I'd only ever speak with someone who I feel like has my best interest at heart, which is why, see, like with podcasts normally, I get asked on a lot of podcasts, and I'm not throwing any names out there or throwing any shade, but like, I find it difficult to accept going on podcasts where they're like, look, this is all about positivity and this and that, and we're going to help you. And I'm like, yeah, but if I didn't have some followers and a name, you wouldn't have me on to help you. I'm not trying to be too cynical, but I'm like, you don't actually care, right? You just want me, and that's fair. Like, I understand it's give and take, but
But
So
it's a
then
business. At the end of the day, it's a business
it's a business thing. Whereas
exchange.
me and you would have this conversation, whether there's these cameras here or not. We would sit down and talk,
No,
which is
this
why I
is
don't
just
mind.
business for me.
So I'm glad you feel that way, but I really don't.
Yeah,
Okay, it's just
I'm
business.
really pleased you're emotional about this, but this is as soon as the cameras turn off, I'm walking straight out of here.
But yeah, essentially, when it comes to my family, right? So even the way like the Britain's Got Talent thing happened, we only went on Britain's Got Talent because a scout from Britain's Got Talent saw us performing, right? So we were performing
Were
in
you
a
doing the robot?
in a shopping centre. We were performing in a shopping centre.
Really?
Yeah.
Which one?
It's called The Liberty in Romford.
Oh, shout out Romford.
And it was my mum's fashion shows, right? So my mum used to put on fashion shows
Yes,
at different
yeah.
shopping centres. So she was already managing us. So like I was performing from when I was like 5 or 6, and we got discovered by Britain's Got Talent when I was like 15, right? So even in that gap, I was always told, especially when you're here performing, you have a responsibility. You're representing the business, like you're representing Dance Work Studio. You do this, you do that. You come in, you do the job, and you do it well, and then we leave, right?
Yeah.
I know it sounds like, listen, for a lot of kids, performing and dancing, it's a beautiful thing. They love it. It's fun, but it's always felt like a job.
Yeah, it's a.
Do you know what I mean?
Well, I'm not surprised.
So like once you then go to Britain's Got Talent, it kind of gets turbocharged, and you're on a much bigger scale. And we've got the massive privilege of going all over the world and doing these TV shows and this and this and this and that. Everything has always felt to me. This sounds so dramatic, but it's the truth. Everything's always felt like pressure. I'll be honest. It's like, do it well. You're representing this. You're representing that. Make sure it's done well. Make sure you do it good, and then leave. So because of that, I feel like I just approach everything in my life like that. Like, make sure you're just doing it properly. Make sure, and like, there's pressure to come in and do it well. And if it hasn't been done well, then I'll leave and I'll be angry. And then, so I think that's kind of why now I've tried to take the slight shift of when I say being more positive, it sort of encapsulates a whole sort of like worldview, I guess.
To have that burden on your shoulders is a heavy one to hold from such a young age.
Yeah, but shall I tell you, because I hear that, and then the initial part of me straight away goes, Jord, flipping hell. I go, you know, the burden and the pressure of making sure I impress Simon Cowell. I'm like, there's people going through, Kim, there's people in the world dying. Like, it makes you feel like that. I'm like, it's really not that big of a deal, but I guess everyone's got their own battles, and it's all relative, right? Everyone's got their own things going on, and it's all relative to how much you've got to deal with or cope with or whatever. But
I think you have to, like, you are that person to say, like, you do belittle things, and you've been through a lot.
Yeah, but with a lot of positive sides to it, which is why I say
Of
I've been
course.
super privileged with a lot of stuff, which is why it's hard to sit there and like there'll be someone sat there now going, you know, I'm so lucky to have this job, and will complain about their job, but it's a really difficult job for not great rewards, and they don't get to see their family, and they might not even have a lot of positive people around them. They're really struggling, but they're still going, but at least I got my job. It feels difficult for me, who's got my wife, my 3 kids, my friends, diversity, my brother, my sister, all these things, all these great things around me, and to be in a position where I'm relatively comfortable, you know, and then go, oh yeah, but you know, I've had a cross to bear. It feels like, I don't know, sometimes that's why I feel a little bit like, not that I don't deserve to be like, oh, it's been difficult, but really, like, sounds bad. It hasn't been that difficult. It's all relative, is my point.
Absolutely, and I agree with you. And I also think it's valid to, you know, whenever I talk about my hardships and whatever, I always balance it out with the fact that I'm super privileged. But let's just talk about the experience for you, because as a person that's seen it from the backside, I've watched you work. When we first started working together, you guys, the hours that you were working, even during the pandemic, was mental. Like, you were getting up at like 2:30, 3 in the morning to travel in, to then do the show, to then go straight to work. Like, that was like your fun. And then you were going straight to work after that for a full day's work, going to bed, going to sleep, and then doing it all over again. It wasn't like me, who at that time, my career was kind of early days for me. I was like coming in to do the breakfast show, and then I'd be like, off for a nap, see you guys tomorrow.
See you in a bit, yeah.
See you in a bit. And I think there is an element of, you also have a family to look after, and you are a non-stop person. So I think it is worth crediting that. Like, you do. I will say, you and Perry are 2 of the hardest working people I've ever come across in my life.
Thank you very much, Haz.
Yeah.
Genuinely, that means a lot, because I do think, as well, and I think you are now very much in this stage, right? I haven't seen all the eps, but I hope everyone gives you your props, right? Because when you first started working with us on Kiss Breakfast, I know you was already doing bits and you'd already had some experience in doing this, but in this 5/6 years, the way you have flourished is insane. Which is why me and Perry, I don't know, I'm not really the sort of person too much to be like, oh my God, I'm so proud of you. Because I'm like, if you want to do it, crack on, work hard. But the way you've worked hard and seeing the rewards now in terms of just even the credibility, the fact that people go, hey man, that girl's actually sick. Like, she's actually really good at her job. It's a nice thing for even us to see because we've literally been with you every step, well, most of the steps, which is really, really good. So, yeah, you've absolutely smashed it.
But for me, I really felt that. And it was interesting because in this industry, it's not always like that. It's not always like that with people you work with. And I really struggle with that because I want to raise everyone else up just as much as I want to raise myself up. But you guys actively would post me on your Instagram or, ask people. I remember like you and Perry asked people to follow when I had like 5,000 followers and you guys were on Instagram being like, everyone please go and follow Harriet. Right? Yeah. And it was like a huge thing for me. And you guys have always supported me in that way.
Yeah, but that's I think you kind of you meet, you'll know this as well as me and Perry now. We have the privilege of meeting, all of us. We've all interviewed or spoken to or met people who are just starting out and they're going to be big, all the way up to the current A-listers of the world who have been like famous for 15 years. Do you know what I mean? We've met all of them, right? And you've interviewed all of them. And I think the one thing that kind of holds true is like, at the end of the day, whether you're sat there talking to an intern who's just coming in and want to get some experience, or we're interviewing Timothy Chalamet or The Rock or whatever. Yeah. I know it sounds so cliche to be like, everyone is literally just a person at the end of the day.
Literally.
Right? Everyone is literally just, before that camera rolls and before you do the interview, they're sat there asking if they can have some water and they're quickly checking their phone. And everyone is just a person. Do you know what I mean? Like, everyone literally is just a person. And when you come across people who are actually genuine, working hard, just trying to make the best of themselves, and just a nice fucking person like you are, it's no skin off our nose to be like, bearing in mind, you're on the breakfast show with us, so it makes sense for you to be there and us to be hyping you up. It's no skin off our back to do that. Do you know what I mean? So,
but not a lot of people do that.
Which is weird. It's a weird approach. Some people see it as like because if she gets too good or she gets too like. So I've actually seen that loads.
Yeah.
Without naming names, I've worked on a couple of shows where I was doing like backstage stuff or doing whatever, and when it started to get a bit of traction, people like just shut it down.
Oh,
and it was really odd for me because I was like, it was so lovely to me at first, giving me advice, helping me out. And then the moment it started to get a little bit too much traction, half my segments got pulled and stuff got changed. And I was like, that's really odd. Yeah. That's like an odd way to approach it. But I find that that's been with more of like the older generation of TV.
Interesting.
It's like the older generation. I think it's like we've gone through a real transitional phase now where I think that, I know there's whole new media and all that stuff, but like, TV isn't what it was. No, it's very different now. It's very, very different now.
Yeah.
And I think when we were going through that kind of more transitional stage 5, 6, 7 years ago,
people like you are really intimidating for people because you have. The thing is, you came from reality TV,
but then kind of.
But you're just really talented and you work really hard. No, but you and Pell are talented broadcasters. Like, you are good interviewers, and I think partly it is maybe because of the negativity. And I'm going to tell you why. No, I'm going to tell you why. Because your version of it is negativity. My version of it is, I don't know, neurodiversity. I don't treat anyone like they're anything other than a person.
Yeah, you just had that interview.
And because you're negative, maybe you go into things being like, I couldn't care less if you like me or not. And I do think that's what makes you good at your job.
Yeah,
and I think what you have is intimidating sometimes for people, because I, for example, care so much about what other people think. I talked about it with Catherine Ryan on the podcast, actually. And she was so surprised that I care about what people think. And I'm much better about it now.
Can I just say as well, from an outside perspective, I understand why people would be shocked.
Yeah.
Because you've got to think, you seem like and why wouldn't you? When I say seem like one of the most confident people. You're smashing life, you're doing your dream job. Yeah, you are. But then I do find it strange. We've had conversations because you are still confident.
Yeah.
But we'll have convos and you'll be like, yeah, because someone said whatever.
So-and-so doesn't like me. And I'm like,
who gives a shit? It's like, why do you care? You're smashing it. Like, why do you care?
Right.
And it's an odd one to kind of see, where I would say I'm not a massively overconfident person, but I know that 9 times out of 10, if I'm somewhere for a reason. and I wouldn't put myself in the situation unless I know I can do a good enough job. So even if you don't like it, someone out there will. So don't worry about it. Do you know what I mean?
I will say that with you. What I do want to see more of you doing. Sorry, I'm just going to take over Danny for a sec.
Yeah. Sorry, Mum, you're out.
Is I love seeing you on the One Show. I love seeing you do Loose Men. I love seeing you. You did a clip not so long ago talking about something I thought was so amazing and brave. And maybe this is part of you trying to be, I don't know, less negative or being more yourself, like bringing out the parts of you that you not necessarily are in the public, which is when you were talking about your friend who was having a really difficult time and you realised that you hadn't asked him.
His mum had just passed away.
Yeah.
That was an odd one because I said to him when that clip went out, I was like, bro, are you okay with this guy? I didn't say your name or anything. He said, no, fine, no problem whatsoever. And weirdly, obviously it was Mother's Day only a few weeks ago, right? And I messaged, the first thing I thought was, I woke up, obviously I was chatting to Nay, like my wife, and the kids come down, we gave her some flowers, had a nice sort of thing, gave my mum a call because she's currently still on tour with the boys. And then I was like, the next person on my list was him. And I was really happy that in my head, it wasn't just like I should do this because it was a genuine thought. It was a genuine thing of, like, let me check in on him. It's like, second Mother's Day without his mum. It's a tough one. It's a tough one, for him.
And it always will be.
It's always going to be horrible.
But
do
do
you know what I mean?
think that is because of this new state of mind that you're being in the present more?
Yeah, genuinely I do. I think there is a lot, like, look, everyone's got their own beliefs and stuff like that. My dad is super religious, super devout Christian, right? And growing up, I'd go church loads, and then you kind of get to that. I always say it about whether you could be a dancer like I was, you could be really good at football, you could be wanting to be presenting when you're a kid, whatever it is, gymnastics, I don't know. But you kind of get to that stage, I think, like a teenager, where suddenly the most important things in life are your mates, going out, and all the other stuff that was really important to you, you kind of drift away from.
Yeah.
And then there's work, and then you uni or whatever, and then you kind of that's where you always see those people. I see there's loads of them at our dance studio who are like, I danced up until I was like 17, and they're really, really good. And now they're like 40 years old, they're just getting back into it. I'm like, how can you dance like that? I was because I used to do this and whatever, right? So for me, faith and religion was a huge. I was really drifted away. And in like the last couple years, I've sort of really reconnected with that side of my life and with my dad and Ash as well, my older brother. And I think that's brought a lot of peace to me. Because my point is as well, right, is that the moment, and again, I was saying this, I was in church it was a few months ago, and we was having this conversation. And I said, in a public space, on a podcast or a TV show, I went through a stage of feeling like I can't say that, like, I'm religious or I'm Christian and I follow that, because it comes with this connotation that, like, you're going to be like judgmental, you're going to be this, you're going to be that,
or homophobic,
or it comes with this connotation. And when I say to be fair, I can half understand, because there's been a lot of bad experiences for people in the public sector, like with that being Christianity or religion, that being the face of it, when really underneath it has been homophobic or this or that or whatever. Like, there has been issues that have been masked with, but I'm religious, so that's my belief. It's
my belief. It's been used as an excuse rather than actually you be used for what it's meant for, which is a faith, right? And
so for me, finding my faith again has been a real important part of my sort of mindset, and I've sort of really enjoyed that kind of journey. But like, when I say that, I could sit down and speak to people like, I don't know, my cousin, for example. The other day, I put it on my story because I think I popped a tyre for the 800th time. I got stuck in traffic, something else. I can't remember everything that happened. And she messaged me. She was like, by the way, but dead serious, right? She said, I know you don't like this stuff, but Mercury's in retrograde right now, right?
You know I love that.
And
not that Mercury's in retrograde. It's in retrograde right now, you know.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, till Saturday.
Sweet Lord, please nothing happen. And do you know what? I actually felt bad straight away that she felt like she had to start with, I know you don't like this stuff. Like, I was immediately going to go, oh. And I'm like, oh, man. Because funnily enough, it was one of our producers at Kiss, right, who said it to me.
Yeah.
Right? And Mike probably picked that up anyway. I might as well screamed it into the microphone.
Yeah.
And she said to me,
you can say her name.
Jade.
It was Jade.
Producer Jade.
Outing you.
We love you, Producer
Jade.
We
love you.
We were in the studio once and we were doing a link about, it might have even been something to do with Mercury in retrograde, right?
Yeah.
And I'm going off on one about it. And then I said something else about 20 minutes later about going to church. And then she said to me, oh, so we can talk about Mercury and retrograde being certain things, but what, suddenly God's real? And I thought,
oh, tea.
and I thought suddenly in my head, do you know what? That's another reason why I shouldn't be sat here demeaning other people's beliefs or what they place their faith into or what they seek comfort in or whatever else, whatever other reason. Because as much as I, in my heart, I say I know God's real and I have this faith, to Jade, she looks at it the way I look at Mercury in retrograde. And then I thought, how would I feel if she sat there going to me, oh, God, oh, God. I'd be a bit like, oh, man, like the last few months in particular, and I think that's been a big shift in life, whether it be with Kiss, like knowing that we were going to leave Kiss, not being on the diversity tour, boxing more, presenting and this and that.
And all of a sudden, the things that were your constants are gone.
Are gone. Yeah. And now, like, there's just this line, and I just kind of feel like when I say I'm trying to be more positive, that living in the moment, accepting things, processing them kind of as they happen, and accepting that maybe, look, do you know what? I'm not going to feel sweet right now, but just kind of going with it has kind of made for a way more peaceful existence. And I'm very much enjoying that right now.
You know, they call it radical acceptance.
Oh, is that what that is?
Which is, well, it's a really great, you should definitely have a look at this online.
Tell
you'll
me,
love
tell
this.
me.
Radical acceptance is linked to like spirituality or can be linked to Buddhism.
Okay.
So radical acceptance is the concept of whatever is happening in your life, whether it be like something as serious as death, divorce, you know, something really high in stress, or whether it is like not going on the diversity tour, not working at Kiss Breakfast anymore, your kids, you know, driving you crazy. It's this radical acceptance of this is where I'm at now. And it's exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's exactly what you're enacting. And it's interesting what you say about religion and spirituality, because I would say a little scared of religion because of being gay. And I've got this fear that I try, in the same way that you try to push against, that I know that actually it is only a certain kind of radical religious person a lot of the time that has those beliefs. And actually all the people that I know that are religious are the kindest, sweetest, most loving people. And a religion is just a method of safety, in my opinion, in the same as spirituality is. Like, and just because I'm not necessarily like following a religion, I follow the more spiritual side of things. But to me, they're a similar thing in that essentially you're following something that brings you closer to yourself and closer to your family and close to the good things in life. What could be better than that?
Exactly.
As long as that's the remit of it.
Oh, how lovely this chat has. I feel like I've never even spoke to you like this in the 6 years I've known you. Do you know what I mean?
But I agree. And I also feel really sad that you felt, the reason I mention about my own fears with it is that I feel so sad that you felt that you couldn't speak about it, because that is essentially bad publicity, not you.
No, but
religion has had in lots of ways. But then we all go to an extreme of, well, religious people do that, and it's like that's just not true.
Yeah.
And like you say, that you're now maybe in those years of your life where you're truly getting to enjoy you're harvesting all of the hard work that you've done, the time you spent. You know, you've created 3 kids, and you've created this environment for yourself. But I feel sad for you, but I also feel really happy for you, because I've definitely had the same experience about talking about being lesbian.
Right.
Before I met you, I was so scared of it being the thing that I was and becoming the lesbian TV presenter or whatever, and it would mean that I didn't get work. I am convinced that it has stopped me in certain realms. I'm sure it has. But then I realize I don't care anymore. And I think that's the point you get to, whereas you've realized how much your religion enriches your life, and how much you love to share that and that's all it matters.
Yeah.
The fact that you're now comfortable with it just shows that positivity that's shining back out of you, because it is essentially based, in my opinion, in like an insecurity that, what if I'm not this grumpy character that I've created? What if I am this person that's like,
just
loves life?
Yeah, exactly.
And you are funny.
And that's such a good way to have worded it, because I felt like even when we won, right? When we won Britain's Got Talent, so 17 years ago now, I remember 2 days after we won, being sat on the coach, like the tour bus, and we were sat there, and there was all of us there, and my mum's chatting to us, and we had to have a meeting about what lawyer we're going to have and what account, and it's all quite serious stuff. And I remember piping up, 16 by the way, about to go and do my statistics GCSE, and I went, I think the main thing we all need to remember is that, you know, stuff doesn't last forever, so we've got to make hay while the sun shines. And everyone looked at me like, Jordan, you're a knob, shut up. But in my head, I was like, no, like,
Panic,
that was
yeah.
the real, like, immediately I thought, all right, cool, how much can we earn in the year that we've probably got after you win Britain's Got Talent before no one gives a shit and you don't work again? And like,
Wow, you kept that going a while.
exactly, it's been a long year.
But you were, in a way, you weren't wrong.
Yeah,
Like, you
yeah.
had to break the, I guess, the curse of reality, which is that it is a short run thing. And you guys did that, but now you've recognized that you don't need to keep that
kind
momentum.
of thing.
Actually,
And
you
shall I
can
tell
just
you
live the
weirdest thing
life.
as well. For so long, and I'm talking even after way after we won Britain's Got Talent, for so long, until recently, I don't want this to turn into like Jordan Banjo's self-help podcast. I'm not trying to do that. I'm just being honest.
Love it.
I felt, even when I would listen to people on TikTok or Instagram or people who've done stuff and done all these things, I really thought the more places I went, the more opportunities I had, the more stuff I bought, the bigger my house, the faster my car, the more expensive stuff. I really thought every single time, once I hit that point, I'll feel better or I'll feel like fulfilled. And it just, not only did it shock me that it didn't work, what shocked me more was how quickly it didn't. Like how instantaneous the novelty wears off. Like I would get the car, I'd be like, I'm getting this car. I'd work hard, I'd get it. And then I'm talking, as I'm driving up the road, I was like, is this it? Like as I drove out, like random stuff like that. I'm always the first person to say, well, it's easy to say that when you've got the flipping car and you've got a house. Like it's very easy to say that. And don't get me wrong, I'm not the person here who's saying money doesn't buy happiness. I think money buys comfortability and a lot of ease, and it eases a lot of stresses. So I think you'd be lying if you said that it doesn't do that. But I am a firm believer is that if you are genuinely unhappy with no money, you're going to be genuinely unhappy with money. There's way bigger things to sort out within yourself. And so like I said, I really do believe money will help ease the stresses of, is the mortgage paid? Is this happening? Can my kids get shoes for school? Of course, that's going to help. Like that eases stresses and that. But in terms of if you are actually unhappy or not fulfilled, or getting money won't change that.
And I could not agree with you more.
Yeah.
And do you know what's weird is obviously I'm a bit older than you, but we have sort of had a very prominent part of both of our careers at the same together.
No, literally at the same time, yeah.
And for me, what's changed is I've never been driven by money because weirdly I've always had a weird belief about money that I'm just like, okay, that will be fine. I'm not going to think about it. And that comes from a certain level of privilege, but it also comes from a certain level of deliberate delusion that I put my mind in.
Yeah.
But my thing was more acceptance of like the idea that becoming well known would mean that I didn't feel sad anymore. And having friends, because at school I was that girl that like people really didn't get me. I was because I had really strong neurodiverse tendencies, like, you know, I was always weird to people, I think. And I was always the fun one, but I was never the attractive one. So I've always been a clown. And for me, in my 30s, I've now realized that like, it is all about the moments you spend with the people that you love.
Yeah.
And actually, I couldn't think of anything worse than staying at the party till 4 a.m. with a bunch of celebrities that I don't know. All I want to do is be at home having a dinner party with my mates. And I think it's a similar kind of instinct of, oh, if I get invited to this party, then I'm finally going to feel accepted.
Yeah.
And it just kept going and going and going. And like, I literally like hosted the Brits red carpet. Then the next year I hosted the Brits ITV show. And it was like all these, and by the way, like that's my dreams. And like my dream one day is to host the Brits. But rather than it being all consuming, like, why aren't I hosting it? It's like, God, I can't wait to do that one day. But until then, I'm just going to keep.
It's that lens shift. It's just trying to shift the perspective. That little bit really helps.
And I really resonate with that idea of like you trying to achieve those things. But also I do slightly wonder where it links to the like grumpy.
Yeah.
The grumpy, like,
do you know what I used to
character?
Do you know what I used to say all the time? I heard it in a film. And I think it's one film with like, it's Vince Vaughn who says the line. So I don't know if it's like The Breakup or one of whatever film he's in, because he's in love, but he says this line. He said, I find it best basically to not have any goals, because if you don't have any goals, you can't fail, and that's the key to happiness in life, right? And I was like, everyone obviously laughed, right? And they're like, "Oh, that's an awful thing to say," because in the context, I think he's talking to somebody who's like talking about their dream or something. He's
Yeah.
basically shooting them down, right?
Yeah.
And I really kind of took that mantra on, like
Yeah.
people, like I was the sort of person, still am really, if I'm honest. Like someone will ask me to play a game or race or do something, and I'll go, nah. And people go, oh, he's got no drive, he's not competitive. It's the opposite.
No, you're a nightmare.
I'm so competitive.
Yeah, you're
I
terrifying.
I don't want to lose. I'd rather not play. The risk of losing stops me from playing. I'm like, if I'm going to do it, I want to win. Which is why the boxing thing's so interesting to me, right?
Which is why I wonder whether that's part of this fundamental shift, is you have got, this is you. This is your thing.
Yeah.
And it's not you part of a group. It's not you paired with Perry on Kiss Breakfast. This is you.
Yeah, and I think the boxing thing's interesting because I find like, you see, this is going to sound really awful, and it's not to diminish what me, Perry, you, or loads of other people do. With presenting, I find, personally, and interviewing is another one.
Yeah.
Even though they're separate skills, but we'll loop them in together for us.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I personally find that if you're actually half decent at it, it's actually quite an easy thing to do.
Yeah.
I know that sounds silly. For some people I watch, I'm like, you could be the most charismatic, funniest, loveliest, interesting person. But the moment you kind of go into that environment, you just sort of seize up.
Freeze
and
up.
you become a presenter, and you sit and you're like, what are you doing? Like, you're just not good at it, right?
Yeah.
Luckily for you, I would say the funny thing is that you're able to do it on your own. The best thing for me is that I've always had Perry, so we've sort of bounced off each other, and I'm like, you're stepping into what we're doing, so you've got to get where you sort of make your own. You're like, you're talking to Harriet Rose as opposed to I'm interviewing this person, and it's a really wicked thing to watch, right? I find that interesting because everyone goes, oh, you must love presenting and doing this. I'll be honest with you, I don't massively enjoy doing interviews, like interviewing people.
I know.
I don't massively enjoy presenting. I enjoy chatting with Pearl, chatting with you, having a laugh, doing that's what and so because it's that lens on it, I find it quite easy, right? Dancing, I've done it since I was a little kid. I do it in a group. I'm with my best friends and my brothers. It's this, it's that. Yeah, it's hard work, but like to physically get to a certain place or do something, but relatively, I found it quite easy.
Yeah.
And I feel that's why I've stuck with all of that stuff, because I can do it and not be, like I always said, I always found what is the quickest way to get to what I want and the easiest way, right? And with boxing, you can't do that.
Yeah.
Which is why I know I must really want to do it, because you try and cut corners, or you try and go, what's the easiest way, or what you try and do this, or you try and do, you literally just can't do it. I know it sounds, it's like boxing or prepping for a marathon or whatever.
Yeah.
If you don't prep properly and you set you've got to run it in 4 or 5 hours, you've got to do it in I don't know what decent times, you've got to do it in a decent time. If you cut corners, you're going, not just struggle, you won't be able to do it. Do you know what I mean? And that's how I know, oh, the boxing thing, yeah, maybe it's because there's like a real sense of pride in it, and I don't want to let myself down. Then there's nothing to hide behind. There's a winner, there's a loser if you've worked hard enough. And sometimes, look, people are just going to be better than you. Like sometimes people are just more talented, they're faster, they're stronger, they can box, whatever. But that's what I sort of love, the honesty about boxing. It's kind of like, if you've worked hard enough and you haven't cut corners, it will show. Even if I lose, I can watch back at that performance and go, I did what I trained for, I really tried my best, and it was a good fight regardless. I'm still fulfilled from that.
So you are. That's interesting.
The second fight I'm way happier. The first fight, even though I won, and technically I took way less punishment, I got hit way less.
Yeah, you were really good, bro.
I was so angry after that first one. Whereas the second one, it was a way tougher fight for me, but I was buzzing when it, like, afterwards. Again, I won both, but the difference in feeling between each, because I knew
you were going to win the first one.
Well, do you know what's funny? And that's what the first one taught me. I believe inside, in my head, I walked in going, no, you can't underestimate anyone. But like up here, subconsciously, I was like, I'm going to win this.
Yeah.
And then when it wasn't all going my way, I was like, what the fuck's going on? This should have been so much easier. And everything just went out the window, and it was a way harder fight than I thought it was going to be. Whereas the second one, I went in, if you don't really follow, especially misfits boxing, it's not really, but the guy I was fighting, I was really up against it. You know, I wasn't meant to win. Everyone who's interviewing me is like, like, you're the underdog. Like, I wasn't meant to win it.
Really?
Right? Yeah, I wasn't meant to win that.
I never thought you weren't going to win. Who was that guy?
His name's Tempo Arts, and I will say this, when I mean the loveliest guy ever.
Aw.
He's such a really young. I think he's like 22. He's got a young kid. His partner at home, like the nicest kid ever. He's such
Wholesome
a nice
guy.
guy, really wholesome guy. I could tell he was more nervous about doing the press conferences and the chats than he was about fighting. Like he's just a really, like he's just a kid who likes to fight and he's got a talent. And he, after the fight, I felt almost immediately awful that we had to fight, and then obviously one of us had to win and one of us had to lose.
Yeah.
But he's just a really good fighter, right? And his journey is that he comes through like this weight loss thing, so he's not standing there all six packed up and all this stuff.
Yeah.
He doesn't look like he's going to be this like the sickest fighter in the world, but he can really fight. So I knew, and all the sort of fans around Misfits kind of like this was going to be a really tough fight. And Jules put all the comments like every time I went on before the fight, Jordan's getting knocked out.
You know when you do the little standoffs, are they called?
Face-off things, yeah.
Face-offs. So first of all, it looks like you're going to kiss every time you do the face. And I'm like, is this going to become heated rivalry? Because I would love that in boxing. Just little. But you are my favourite to watch doing it, because one thing that you guys might not know about Jordan, right, is he's the most awkward person.
Yeah, devastatingly awkward.
Yeah.
Oh.
But it's not that he himself is awkward, because you're not. You as a person are not. But it's when something happens outside of his body that is in any flicker of a like.
I know exactly what you're saying. It's
like in any way awkward, he will, and he's 6'5".
Yeah.
Will fold into himself and be the size of an ant.
It's awful. I have like my cringe reflex.
Yeah, it's like, but it's like because you're so big.
Yeah,
it's
it looks,
really. It's
I'm
like
just there like, oh, I can't do it. So like when you do their face-offs or someone stand there like, mate, listen, I've never met you before. You've never met me. I've genuinely got no animosity towards you whatsoever.
Yeah.
You're actually a really nice guy. We're going to have a fight, and that's no problem. And when the fight happens, all good. But standing here face to face, like, yeah, bro, I'm like, oh, like I can't do it because I'm like, I don't feel that way towards you. I don't understand he insulting you and acting like it. I'm like, just everyone chill. And I know, look, especially for a lot of boxers, you want to sell the fight and get as many viewers and as much money as possible. I get that's a big part of it.
Yeah.
But for me, I'd rather just be straight up honest. Like in all my face-offs, I'm just shaking everyone's hands and just being like, let's just chuck the awkwardness out straight away. Because it's funny, in the last face-off,
it was nice to watch. I didn't mind watching it.
It's
And I
just-
don't
it's
like watching them.
there was us two standing there, and then you always have like your promoter in the middle, right? So our promoter's there, and then security obviously gather around in case it kicks off, because everyone just started kicking off and fighting and that. And as soon as security steps up, the guy in the middle went, "Nothing's going to happen, trust me." And then we just shook hands. So it was like, "Yeah, nice one, mate." Yeah, it's not going to happen with me. That's why even with certain people, I've been quite disinterested in taking fights, because I'm like, the fight is not even in the ring. With you as a person, it's the stuff leading up to it, and I'm like,
stop being such a drama queen.
like I'm 33. I've got 3 kids, 2 of which are in school. I've got my wife at home. The last thing I want to do is sit on a press conference table with some 23-year-old who's calling my wife a slag and talking about my kids.
Don't you talk about Nay like that?
Not you, but Bob, I apologise. I'm not saying that about you, but you know what I mean. They're going,
no, but
yeah,
it's
your
true.
wife said this, and I'm like, and even if it's not about George, you're going to react. No, even if I keep quiet, it'll get clipped up, and then it's just out there, and then someone will say something to my son in school, like, "Oh, I saw this." And I'm like,
not for me.
I just don't want to be involved in it. Like, that's why I've agreed to fight people who I know are, even if they're not respectful or nice or whatever. If you're going to go at, like, you'll go at me. You're not just that. I'm going to say one of the worst things I could possibly say, so it gets clipped and it can go somewhere. I'm just not interested in that. I just don't want to be involved.
I just think people like that are so cringe.
It is cringe.
I mean, I guess on that subject, you know, the role of a man right now is, there's a lot in the media about kind of having conversations. Basically, as a woman, it's really difficult to fathom the fact that my male friends wouldn't stand up for me in a conversation when I'm not in the room. Like, you know, like when that guy makes a weird comment and everyone just goes, "Oh yeah," but actually it turns out, you know, that guy's bad news.
Yeah, he's a bit wrong, and
like, how for you with this more positive outlook on life, like, do you find yourself like having more conversations? You know, you've got a son, you've got
2 boys,
two boys.
Sons,
You've got brothers, you've got Pell, all your mates. Like, do you find these conversations are happening more where, like, positive, like, because I think you're quite a good role model of masculinity, because masculinity, I feel like, has become a word that people are like scared of. But actually, it's great to feel your masculinity alongside your femininity, alongside your sort of full spectrum of who you are.
I think masculinity is a funny word at the moment because, like you said, I feel comfortable having the conversation and talking to you on your podcast and stuff. But let's say, I don't know, I'm on loose spin for another panel. I would feel worried about how do I phrase this without coming across like I'm, oh yeah, men have got to stand up and do what they want, or going too far the other way and making it sound like if I'm honest, I do think there does need to be, I'm not even going to say strength of character, some accountability, and that's not just as a man, that's as a person, as an adult, as you grow up. Do you know what I mean? There has to be some accountability, right? The conversations with me and my friends and me and my brother are very different. So like with Ash, he has been my entire life quite, when I say inspiration, everyone thinks you talk about like flipping Michael Jordan and watching slow-mo dunks, but like he has sort of been quite a guide for me my whole life, right? And even coming back to my faith and stuff like that, it's sort of, he sort of leads and I'll kind of be like, and there's been loads of stuff he does or has led me to, and I've gone, nah, it's not really for me, and we leave it. But there's a lot of other things that he's sort of guided me on, and I've sort of really reconnected, and it's been positive, right? Conversations with my friends are weird because some of my friends and I say friends,
people you know.
Yeah, but no, mates or whatever. Because I would say I have loads of acquaintances, and I think the thing that's funny is that people think it's like how long you've known people that deems the depth of a friendship.
No,
it's
yeah.
not for me. It's not that.
No.
It's what you've gone through. It's the level you guys kind of connect on. Even though we go over half a decade, I've got friends that I've had for 20 years, not just 6. But I would say that mean you're a lot closer than them than I am with them, even though I've known them a lot longer.
Because we're deeper. That's what it is.
Exactly,
it's
right?
like we're in a deeper. Yeah, so I get that.
I've got a lot of people I've known for a long time, who I either went like school with or knew from like school age and stuff, who would watch that Manosphere thing and go, "Oh, Farouk got owned," and we're like genuinely seeing nothing wrong with it. Blah blah blah. Ain't his kids, it ain't his thing. And well, yeah, as a man, you should stand up for yourself. I should be this and that. And you're like, yeah, you're sort of missing the damage of that, as opposed to like, look, if the only thing that people said, in my opinion, in the Manosphere thing, if the stuff that being said was you should take accountability, you should work hard, try and be strong and provide for your family. In my opinion, that applies to men, women, and everyone. Yeah, you should take accountability as an adult. You should work hard in life, and you should try and be happy.
Yeah.
If they were the genuine messages that are being put out, I'd be like, okay, yeah. But
that's not going to get clickbait, is
exactly,
it? That's not going to get click. And that's the problem, is it's like, you're so right. It's like, what about if we just brought it back down to the core principles of just being a good person?
That's it.
Calling out stuff that it makes you feel uncomfortable, and actually, like, you know, having a word with someone. And it doesn't have to be, I mean, for me, it relates back to like, if I'm the only, if there's no other people other than white people in the room, and someone makes a joke that is racist or homophobic or transphobic, I am going to say something. Because that is my, you know, that is my duty as the person in the room, and vice versa. I think that's the role.
And it's weird because I think there'll be some people who will view it as, I'm not going to say anything, and then other people look at them and be like, wow, you're bang out of order for not saying it. And I think it's a difficult one for people. Like if I have 5 white friends and there's another white person in the room and someone goes, oh, and makes a racist joke.
That's not your job to say anything.
Do I expect all of my friends to be like, oh, listen, I mean, yeah, well, am I going to be angry at them for not? I wouldn't say angry. Would I feel a little let down maybe? But I look and I go, there is going to be a plethora of reasons of why you didn't speak up. Some of you might secretly harbour certain feelings. Some of you might just feel really awkward. Some of you might not have the confidence to do it.
Yeah.
Something like I feel like a lot of the time the world's seen black and white. This is right. This is wrong. You do this and you don't. And if you don't, that's it. Like we're all like cancelled or this or that. And I struggle with that. I do struggle with that idea because a lot of people, like even the person who made the joke, sometimes I look and I'm like, you're just feeling really flipping awkward or trying to be accepted or trying to do the right thing, trying to be like, oh, they might find this. And then even in yourself, you're like, oh, no, I shouldn't. It's wrong. And of course, you should be called out so you can take accountability for it and go, oh, okay, cool, I won't do that again. But like, I don't see everyone who's ever said something bad in a group chat or potentially racist in a group chat as, you know, part of the KKK. Sometimes they're just acting like a dickhead. I'm just being honest with you. Like, If everybody's group chat or everybody's messages or everything that everybody's ever said has been exposed, everyone on earth is being cancelled because we've all said something at some point that you probably shouldn't have said. You probably didn't believe at the time, and you was acting like a knob.
Yeah.
Put bluntly, that's what I think.
So your view is that people independently should be taking accountability for their own.
Yes. You should independently take accountability. And anybody who can't or doesn't see where they're going wrong, I genuinely pray. I hope that you find the peace in yourself and the ability to go, oh, do you know what? That was wrong.
Yeah.
And maybe I shouldn't have done that. Or maybe I shouldn't have said that. And if you can have the opportunity, take the accountability to apologise for that and own that, because I think that is kind of what being a man or a good person is.
Yeah.
Being able to hold that accountability and know when you're wrong, I think is a very big part of that.
I think that perfectly links to trying to be more positive. It's just kind of bringing that element. Is there been a recent time where your positive attitude has really helped you shift a shit situation?
Yeah. Do you know what? Funnily enough, I would say quite a lot. Quite a lot. That's public as well. Whether it be kiss breakfast.
Let's take that as an example because obviously we haven't talked about that. So we obviously you and Perry hosted the Kiss Breakfast show, and I came in as the sort of side chick.
Third host, if we're honest.
But I was sort of the I guess the content girly.
Yeah.
And you guys left at the beginning of this year. Tell me about how that impacted you and how you used your new positive mindset to sort of
Yeah. Well, it was a weird shift, I think, because me and Perry, where we did it, I would say, for a big chunk of our adult lives, we were hosting Kiss Breakfast, and it's sort of all encompassing. Even though it's only for 4 hours during the morning, I was going to say, you say that, but it's an hour journey. It's an hour journey.
An hour before you start. Yeah,
you base your entire life around it. Getting to bed on time, where you're going, what other jobs you take, because it's so consistent there. Yeah. So when we knew it was coming to an end, was a little bit odd.
Yeah.
I think that, if I'm honest, Perry was sort of at a place where he was like, I'm not sure if this massively makes me happy anymore as well.
Yeah.
And I guess for me as well, it's so structured, and there is so many incredible things about being on that show. But breakfast, I think anybody who's done breakfast radio or breakfast TV or anything that requires you being forward-facing, outward, positive for 4 or 5 hours, locked in every single day, it can be a little bit draining. I've said before, there's a lot harder jobs. I understand that, but I'm just saying, just if I'm honest, it can be a little bit. Especially when you get up, you do that, then you leave, and then you go and film a different TV show, then you got to get back and you do rehearsals till 11:30, 12 at night. You get home, you get in bed about 1 o'clock, and then your alarm goes off again at 3:30, and you're back up to it. It starts to get to a point where you're like, this is a lot. It
was time.
It was time. It kind of run its course a little bit, and I say this wholeheartedly. I think Tyler and Chloe are currently doing a great job, and the show will only get better. I think the longer you do a breakfast show, the more you kind of you sort of embed with the audience, and they know what to expect, and you know what to expect, and you have that repertoire, even though it's with however many thousands, millions, whatever of people listening. You build that repertoire, and it feels super personal. It's a massive show, and I think they will only get better, even though currently they're already really, really good and smashing it, and it's a great show. So, Kiss Breakfast as a whole is going to keep going and keep doing this thing, and I'm really happy about that. But I think for me and Pell, it was kind of time, especially specifically for Kiss Breakfast, to kind of take a step back.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure, especially for now or the next little while, some people, they'll leave a show and jump straight into another one. If I'm honest, ask him when he comes on, but I don't see Pell going, I'm going to jump into a breakfast radio show for a long time.
I hope he doesn't, for his own health.
Yeah.
That boy was only sleeping 2 hours a night every night.
And do you know what it is for Perry? I think this is a prime example for him. He would, and I respect it and I love it. He was like, I don't care if I've got a radio show or a breakfast show or this or that. I'm making sure I still live my life outside of it.
And that was a new thing.
That was a new thing.
And I was really proud of him for that, because I think he did need to just be like, no, I am going to have a glass of wine with my girlfriend or go out for dinner.
Because we've always been super work focused.
Yeah.
So I think doing that, because he was trying to do both, he was sort of burning the candle at both ends. So like you said, he'd end up, I'm going to work, I'm going to come out, I'll do this content, or I'll go to the rehearsal, or I'll film this TV show, but then afterwards I'm making time to take my mum here, or I'm going to take that trip here, I'm going to do that. And then he'd get back and he'd be exhausted, and then it would be starting all over again. And again, we are speaking from a place that is like obviously sounds and it is proper privileged, right? I get that, but burning the candle.
You don't
at both
have
ends.
to keep saying that.
I worry though, because I know that if I
get
was
it.
listening, I'd be sitting there going, "Mate, shut up!" Like you're
But
moaning
you've
about.
worked extraordinarily hard to get to that point. You have not sat around and been given this opportunity. You did not come from fame. And even sometimes when people come from fame, they still really work hard.
Yeah, no, you're right. But on Pell, I think that for him, he'd kind of be like, yeah, I don't want to dive into another rigid show right now. I think for a little while, and I could be wrong. He could take a couple more months and go, oh, do you know what? I actually really miss that side of this. So I really want to do that. But I think for now, you know, I think everyone's going to just kind of sleep, enjoy doing tour, enjoy doing boxing, enjoy other shows, enjoy whatever it is, enjoy doing podcasts and having these honest chats and just sort of take each moment as it comes, as opposed to planning to get this show and lock in for a 3, 4, 5-year contract and be doing this. And it's just like, oof. I think once you step out of that for a little while, you kind of want to enjoy not the lack of security, but you want to just enjoy not having that go for a second. Do you know what I mean?
Also, it's linking back a little bit to you and like recognizing that it is okay that you're not secure.
Yeah,
like,
in that
because in loads of ways you are.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like actually that being driven in that same way of like, where's the money coming from? What am I going to buy next? It's like you did that show for the amount of time you were meant to do it, and then were able to walk away at exactly the perfect time when you were leaving on such a good note. Yeah. And it's the same for me. Like when you guys decided to leave, for me, I was like, cool, that's the time I want to also do the same, because like for me, Kiss was about you guys just as much as it was
we'd all done
about...
it together, right?
Like... Yeah, and I really felt I've loved being at Kiss, and obviously I've announced now that I've left.
Okay, cool. I didn't know if I could say it or not. Yeah, but yeah, of course, you've left as well. Yeah,
yeah, I've announced.
How are you
I've
feeling
left.
about that?
Yeah, I feel great about it. I'm really grateful for everything that Kiss did for me and everything you guys did for me, and that it gave me the platform to show everyone what I can do.
Yeah, and you did that. You definitely did that.
Thank you. And I feel like I've reached... You know, it was really interesting with Say It or Shot It, because I don't know what they're going to do with that.
Do you know what's weird? Can I just quickly say?
Yeah.
Someone came up to me the other day, I swear to God, I think it was at my fight. It was at the fight. So it was before I went on, someone was like, I just want to say, I listen to you all the time. Do one of my favourite things. You meant Harriet, Say It or Shot It. I swear to God.
Oh, that's
he brought up Say
nice.
It, and he was talking to me about Say It or Shot It. He was like, when you and Perry was on, it was hilarious, but I love
honest,
Harriet.
That was one of my favourite episodes ever.
Oh, we had good fun on
I
there.
wish we could have done a second one, actually, of that, because it was very good. That's so nice to hear.
Yeah, no, people love it. So you were saying, yeah, what is going to happen with something
well,
like
I
that?
don't know.
Because it's
one
you.
Of those it's one of those things where before I left, I was said to my team, I was like, I really want to want to keep doing this.
Yeah.
And then I really thought about it, and I was like, I've done it now. I really felt a bit like you in terms of like the positivity, and because you know me, I'm kind of relentlessly positive, but then also what I am is like relentlessly positive but over emotional. So I can take things personally really easily. And with Say It or Shot It, I was like, do you know what? Whatever happens is going to happen, and I can't control that. I would love to keep doing it. I would love to, but I think that season has ended, and to be finishing on episodes with like Julia Fox and Tiana Taylor and like, you know, Jordan and Perry, all those three on the same same level. It's like, to me, I did what I came to do.
Yeah.
And now I do feel like a different presenter, because I was quite raucous on that show. I was quite naughty, and that's why Say It or Shot It was what made me create this, because I was like, that's Kiss's and this is mine.
Yeah.
And all the respect to Kiss, because they gave me that opportunity, and you know, I worked on that concept, you know, from its birth, and that means the world to me. And who knows what's going to happen next with it, but that's where I kind of I've got the kind of personality, because I'm a Leo, I'm like a little bit like, but it's mine.
Yeah.
And it's like, but actually, if it's not, then it's not. And if they choose to shut it down, then great. I think that's a good idea. But if they don't, I also really respect that someone can put their own spin on it and do their own thing and see what happens. But it was a real joy for me to take hold of something and do it and have fun with it. And like, who else gets to ask like that kind of mad shit to really famous people?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
like, honestly, some of the stuff. And actually, like Madison Beer, I had her.
No, that episode was crazy, man.
So I had her back on. I did an interview with her for Kiss just before I left, And she was like, it was one of my favourite things that I've ever done.
Really?
I was a bit worried because I was like, it was raucous and it went mega viral.
It flew, yeah.
And she said to me, she was like, I still now see clips of it and I smile every single time. And for me, it's like to make her feel that safe that we could talk about cunnilingus. and she, you know, and it was like mega viral and hilarious. And she was really chuffed with it. It's like, that means the world to me.
It's nice. It's good. I think that's the thing. I think like we're kind of both singing from the same hymn sheet here in terms of Kiss. Like so much positivity and so much great stuff, but it kind of run its course.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
time to say goodbye in the best way and say goodbye with a kiss.
Yeah.
But seriously, like I feel this joy and like I've got so much out of it in terms of friendships, like especially my friendship with you and Perry and the support I feel from you and Perry in terms of within this industry means the world to me because I know there's two people that have got my back and will hear me, listen to me complain and let me ring you and, you know, chat shit about this, that and the other. And to me, that is like such a beautiful thing to walk away from.
It's good. It's good.
And it leads me on to my by the way about you because I do a by the way about my guests.
Oh, love that. Okay.
So my by the way about Jordan Banjo is, by the way, you've taken a few years off my life.
What do you mean?
What do you mean? What do I mean? Scaring me almost every day for 5 years.
Oh my days! I did that so much,
So
and you always give the best reactions.
It's not just me. I feel like me and your mum have the worst of this. Is Jordan's passion is like walking around a corner and screaming so loudly in your face that part of your soul just is taken from you.
Yeah.
Saying things that you shouldn't say 1 second before we go on air.
Yes, to try and throw you. It's always really.
Or if I accidentally say, like, and I put my finger in it on live on the radio, and Jordan would you won't just go. Ugh, you'll be like, he will make it 4 billion times worse. He'll be under the table while I'm trying to do a link about like trying to not make it about being a lesbian. And he gives off the idea that he's such a nice family man.
Guys, I found God again, all right? I would never do that.
Yeah,
right?
you would never do that. And then there's the relentless taking the piss out of me. I would say one main like sort of running taking the piss is calling me Hattie.
Oh, I love it because you hate it so much. Do you know what one of my favourite memories is ever at Kiss?
Yeah, go on.
I think it's the first year we did Kiss Haunted House. And it was the year you came.
Where I dressed as Wednesday and I looked disgusting.
You came as Wednesday. And we was doing a live thing and they were live streaming it because it might have still been just around COVID or just after, whatever it was. They were live streaming the event as well. It was quite a few people watching this and that. And I said, right. And I went, right. And you was interviewing someone. I was like, yeah, that's enough from me and Pearl. We're chucking it over. She's with Stormzy. Here's Hattie. And there's like this 3 seconds where you don't even talk. You're just like this.
Because then I'm expecting, that's trauma. That's childhood trauma. Hattie was the most girly name and I hated it.
Yeah.
And so he would do this then, we'd be like, ha, ha, ha. And then he'd come up on air and do exactly that.
Yeah. I'm like, Hattie's here. You'd be like.
But I couldn't, like, one thing they don't explain to you about radio is like in jokes.
Yeah.
If you're like laughing as the mics come up, it's really isolating for the listener.
Yeah, they don't like it. Yeah, they don't like it.
So what Jordan would do was test my ability to not laugh on camera. Or he'd be like saying something so inappropriate and then he'd be like, mics are up.
Yeah, but no, you can't reply. No, sorry.
But by the way, we all so guilty of.
Oh, we love it.
We love it. But I will say, like, that is one of my favourite things about you. And because, do you know why? I think it's your love language.
Yeah. This is what I said to Nate. Because my wife, right, she gets so angry. She's like, oh, you're annoying me.
Or you troll her on a level that
I can't help it. Like, seeing her immediately puts me in a good mood, right? I'm just being honest. And then winding her up makes me even happier. I can't lie.
She obviously loves it because she's still there.
Yeah, and and that's what she'll be like, oh, you're annoying while she's laughing. And I'm like, well, don't laugh then because it's just making me happier and we just keep doing it.
I've got to say, you've started to do this thing recently about in your socials, and I think it is because you've got more time now. You're so funny. And you do these like isolated clips to camera, and it's either you sort of talking about the dogs or talking about Nay or talking about kids. And I want to see, you know what I think is coming in 2026? Authenticity.
Yeah.
And it's not that we haven't been authentic, but I personally am trying to be the most authentic I've ever been. And I really feel it from you.
Yeah, I'm trying, man. It's good. I think it's better to...
Because you're hilarious. And I don't know that you post that much of that side of your personality.
Yeah. But doing that stuff is kind of fun. And that's... I think when I say be more positive about stuff, doesn't mean I can't also acknowledge that when something bad happens, it's not ideal. Do you know what I mean?
I was going to say, actually, like...
You can still be honest about stuff.
Yeah, and
do you know what I mean?
but also I think, it's worth recognising that not everything is going to be positive, but not everything has to be negative.
Not even great, yeah, because when you have that frame of stuff, like I said before, I would turn, like, incredible opportunities and stuff.
Yeah, why would I care about that?
Yeah, I'm like, well, let's just get it done. I'm like, or you can just enjoy it for what it is. It's a great day. Like, go and enjoy yourself and have fun. Do you know what I mean? And that's been a big part of it. And I think also acknowledging the stuff, that bad stuff or unfortunate stuff or whatever, isn't great, but just trying to have a laugh with it as well.
George, what have you got to get off your chest?
By the way, I'm not Ashley Banjo.
He's not Ashley Banjo. And can I just say, I find this really odd.
Do you know what it is? I don't hear it or see it until someone will be playing like a random clip or something in the background, and I'll be like, I don't remember saying that, and I go, oh, that was Ash.
Yeah.
I think sometimes when we have like our TV voice, it's similar, maybe something like that.
Really?
Because our normal voices, I think we sound really different. I obviously think we look really, really different, but I think what it is for a lot of people, like that's that kind of thing when you see someone famous that you kind of recognise, but you kind of don't. And then they stare, and it's like, did I go to school with that person? Or you sort of latch it on to something random. I think because me and Ash have a very similar job, we are obviously similar in stature, we sound kind of similar. I think a lot of people go, oh, and they just go, it's Ashley Banjo. I don't think they mistake Ashley and Jordan. I think they just think there's an Ashley. Because I've had, do you know what I mean? When
you don't exist.
When we did Dancing on Ice, right?
Yeah.
So Ash was a judge, and I was doing the backstage presenting, so I was interviewing the skaters and the celebs and stuff. I swear to God, this was a genuine tweet. It literally said, I don't understand why Ashley Banjo keeps getting changed and interviewing people backstage. And I was like, you're literally looking at him, and then it cuts to me, and they're like, why do they keep putting in these random clips of Ashley interviewing people backstage? And I'm like,
cannot tell you how... Okay, fine. The sound of the voice thing, fine. I would never mistake you two. But your faces are totally... Yes, fine. You look similar, like a brother and a brother do.
But not like twins.
No. He's
Very
also
different.
Bigger in stature to you.
Yeah, he's bigger than me. Like, he's got like that super... Like, my head's... I'm kind of got quite a round head. He's like super chiseled. Like, we just don't look alike. I know. Especially if I go him to me. I don't know how they got us confused, right? But the one that gets me about it, and it's not funny, but it kind of is. So obviously back in 2020, Ash was judging on Britain's Got Talent because when Simon Cowell hurt his back, or I think off a bike or something crazy.
Scooter or
yeah, something
scooter.
like that. Yeah. And Ash was judging, and we did a performance on there, which was like the summary of 2020. So obviously we spoke about COVID, we spoke about the NHS, but obviously a huge thing was George Floyd and Black Lives Matter, right? So that was part of our performance, and it's sort of become known as the Black Lives Matter performance.
It was beautiful.
And obviously, he got that crazy thing of like, the most complained about TV moment in a decade. And we had all that backlash, and I had to move house, and people like throwing crap on my car and trying to get in. Like, yeah, that's why I moved house. People like climbing in my garden and all sorts. It was crazy, man. It was a really, really crazy time. And like me and Ash, we went to Manchester, and like they put up an article like, oh, Ashley and Jordan show their faces for the first time, and all the comments are like, they better not be in Manchester. And it was just crazy stuff, right? And then it all died down. We got a BAFTA, no complaints. So it worked out well in the end, all right? No one be too upset about it.
Yeah, BAFTA versus someone climbing into your garden is pretty.
Yeah, it's not ideal, but you get it. Anyway, now we are talking we are 6 years on from that. To this day, people will go, if I get announced on a show, or I'm doing this, or I'm doing whatever, immediately the comments, oh, here he is, the racist. What's he going to do? Take a knee. Can't believe he was judging a show called Britain's Got Talent, and then he had the audacity to moan about white people. First of all, that's not what we did. Secondly, it wasn't me. I'm not Ashley Banjo. It's the funniest thing. And the other side of the story is, before we did that performance, I said to Ash, I was like, I don't think we should include that part.
Because you were scared.
I knew we'd get reaction. And Ash basically said to me, the fact that you feel like we can't is why we should. And I was like, okay. And even still, I was a bit like, oh, because like I always say, not that I was viewing things negatively, but I was viewing things as, what do we want from this? We want to have a good performance. You're a judge. Let's just go on and do a performance. Why take a route where the performance could be received really well and it'd be wicked, but it could also get a lot of backlash? Why take a more difficult route? Let's just take an easy one. Which is always my view on stuff. So I was like, that's the advice I kind of gave. And he was like, no, I think we should do it. And I think he was like, as well, if we're doing a summary of 2020, it is what been outside of COVID, been like the biggest. It would be weird. You're actively trying to avoid it, you know. So yeah, we did that, and that's what happened. And even to this day, I still get all the time, oh, I can't believe this. You done this, you done that. And I'm like, wasn't me, but fair enough. Like, yeah,
they're literally proving they are proving racism by
mixing up the two guys,
accusing you of being a different black guy. Like it is like. Wow, you couldn't be proving it more needed than
You're
it is.
doing it right now. That's so funny. But
I want to ask you now, looking back, are you proud of yourself?
Yeah, no, I'm really proud of like the team and what we did. I think it sparked a lot of important conversations. I do think it was nice that, like, you know, it was like shown in schools, and it sparked conversation here and it sparked conversation there. And I do think, once again, you know, I think there's, again, everyone paints the world so black and white, like there's no grey area. Like everyone goes, oh, if you didn't post that black square on your Instagram, you're automatically racist. Like, no, not really. Maybe you just didn't want to post a black square. That's fine. Like, you have your own reasoning behind it. And there'll be some people who did it for their own personal reasons, and some people who didn't, and some people who did post it and might have posted it for wrong reasons themselves. Do you know what I mean? Like, who did do it because they're trying to seem away. Like, the world's not black and white. Do you know what I mean? It is very grey. So I don't like point fingers or this or that, but what I'd like to think is that overall, as much as there was like some backlash, and it wasn't initially nice at the time, there was a lot more positivity that came out of it than negativity.
You made a huge change.
Which
I think.
Nice. Yeah, it's
I
cool.
think what you did, and the fact that you were scared to do it, and the fact that you had reason to be, but you still did it, and you all sat with it, and led by Ashley. It is such a beautiful moment, and it's so impactful, and it's so brave to put yourselves in the firing line, essentially. I mean, how do you remain positive, even though you do experience still that racism?
That stuff. Do you know what it is for me? Like, 99% of stuff, right, I see, I'd be lying if, like, you will know this better than anyone, right? Especially as someone as you, like, you would say yourself are quite emotional, right? There are some well-known people, and even not well-known people, can get trolled on the internet, right? But there are some people who go, I literally read a bad comment and it's like, past my head. I'm not that person. I read a bad comment and I'm like, oh man, like I don't like reading bad comments. Do you know what I mean? Like, no one does. I will actively, that's why I come off of Twitter or X.
Same,
that's why I actively, if there's an article in the mail that someone goes, oh, have you seen this? I actively will not read the comments, because, with no disrespect, anybody who's got a Mail Online account and goes out their way to comment rarely is doing it to say something nice.
But also,
do you know what I mean? Like, they're rarely doing it.
What are you up to?
Yeah, like, you're rarely doing it. Like, sometimes people go, oh, that's nice, but 9 times out of 10, you've got it because you want to, like, look, maybe you just want to have a moan and it's a place to go, oh, this person, whatever. Like,
yeah,
it's rarely a place for positivity. So I will actively do my best to kind of just avoid that kind of stuff in general. And also just kind of take... So, do you know what else I've done as well? When I read a bad thing online, and I say a bad thing, if it's actually... I still don't get the idea of randomly going onto someone's page to even give them constructive criticism. Like, I didn't... Susan from Blackpool, I didn't ask you to critique my outfit. Yeah. Right? I didn't ask you to do that, but thank you for going out your way. Sometimes I will look at the comment, look at the picture and go, oh, do you know what? Yeah, maybe that could have been a bit better. Or I watch a link back or something and I go, oh, maybe I could have worded that a bit. I try and take something constructive or positive from it. But then a lot of the time, I think, again, you just have to kind of take it, digest it, process it, move on. You know, I'm honestly not one of those people who reads bad comments and goes, shit, who cares? I'm not. I actively don't like it.
Yeah.
But I just try and go, look, it is what it is. They've said it for either their own reasons because they're feeling away, or maybe they genuinely believe it. And if there's some truth in it, next time I'll be better. It is what it is. You know what I mean? That's just me personally. Like, if I didn't like this diversity performance, I'll watch it back and I'll be like, interesting. Like, I can actually see your point. You like the way that camera shot was there, or the way we staged that. Yeah, maybe that could have been better. And then sometimes I'm like, you're just being negative for being negative, and you just got to sort of take take it as it comes.
And you feel like the new positive sort of things you're trying to implement probably will help you move through the day.
I think so.
When you get those.
Definitely. I think looking at things from a sense of whether you want to call it a lens of faith or whatever, looking at things
Through your faith, yeah.
Yeah, through faith, but without trying to. I think like one of my things, like for Lent this year, yeah, they're like, "What are you giving up?" And I was like, "I'm giving up chocolate, or I'm going to give up this." Or I was like, "I'm going to really try my best to not be as reactive, because even though I'm super reactive. Like that's why like road rage is like immediately.
Yeah.
I've started literally got and I still feel that." And I
I'm
go,
the
okay,
same.
chill. Like, I'm just
reactive.
so reactive all the time. And that's what I look at, even like arguments that I'll have with my wife. And I'm like, if I just wasn't as reactive, cool, I might not agree with what you've done. But
if you took a minute, maybe it wouldn't have escalated.
And not even a minute. If I would have just taken a second and just not gone, yeah, but it would have gone, if I would have just gone, listen, like, do we really need to do this like that? I know she would go, you're right. And it would be done in the second. But instead it turns into a 2-day argument because I get my back up. It's just silly.
Yeah.
You know? So that I feel like that's helped me. And that in regards to comments online, or like you said, even something silly as road rage or whatever, trying to be less reactive and more positive has been a real positive thing for my life.
I would say as well, as a person, you're really not reactive in in any part of our friendship, or like you might be with the people you're like with our partners and stuff. There's a different side of
it's
us
like a
that
different
comes out.
dynamic, right?
But isn't it funny that like I'm the most road ragey person, and sometimes I sit there having done this. And I go, I am in the public eye. I am like, oh my.
Then I turn on Mars Singer and be like, hang on a minute.
Well, but I really respect that. And I think you are going to live such a happier life and a calmer life and a more present life. And you will have these experiences where you just enjoy yourself more. But I don't think we can get to that place until we get to that place.
Yes,
and
I
I
agree.
really don't think you can get to that place maybe until your 30s.
I don't think you can put that pressure on yourself too much. Do you know what I mean?
But I think in my 20s, imagining me trying to be present, I'm like, there's no way.
Yeah,
I was hustle, 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 go, go, go.
Yeah,
and it's in my 30s I've learned to be like, oh, what actually makes me happy? What do I enjoy? I'm not bothered by like chasing fame, chasing success. Of course, I chase those things in a very normal way, but I no longer chase them in a, I need
sense.
this.
Yeah.
For you to, for me to feel fulfilled, I need this person to like me, or I need this interview to be the best that's ever happened. You know, I think letting go of those essentially materialistic things, you just end up, and I guess it's very based around the faith elements of it. For me, it's spirituality. It's like, what do I want to bring in and then therefore give out to others, and how can I create that in the healthiest way possible?
Look at that. What a lovely conversation we've had, Haz.
To finish,
yes,
what piece of advice have you got for our audience, Jord?
Well, I know it's a weird one, because if you've stuck with us throughout the whole pod, or you haven't just skipped to the end for a perfect bit of advice.
Yeah.
It's been all positivity, shifting the lens, living in the moment. But I said something earlier, and it led me to this place in the end. If you have no goals, you can never be disappointed. The opposite of the entire meaning of this podcast. There you go. It led me to where I am now. Enjoy. Thank you for watching.
And I mean, he's pretty successful, isn't
it's
he?
worked out at the end, didn't it? It's done all right. I'm here with the Harriet Rose. It's gone well.
And honestly, he had to work very hard to get here. Can I ask you a question before you go?
Yes, please.
Did you do beard replacement therapy? Because your beard is...
It's come in it? It's dropped. Now,
Daddy's home.
Let me explain something to you straight away. Before the camera started rolling,
right,
Harriet said to me, I've always sat on this chair. Can we swap? My beard's a lot thicker on this side than that side.
Is it?
So when she said swap, even side, I went, crap. I was like,
show me your other side of your face.
See how thin it is here.
Oh, okay. I've got to say the other side is a little bit thicker. But
yeah,
in general...
It's really come in. Do you
You're
know what?
thick, bro.
With 2 C's. That's it. Feeling good. Thanks, Haz. But no, I haven't. Do you know what I've been doing? Rosemary oil and a derma roller. Is it derma roller?
Sorry, but that should be your piece. That should be...
If you want a fuller beard, rosemary oil, but you need to have it you need to dilute it with something else, not just straight rosemary oil.
Like with water?
Yeah, well, it's water, or like another little moisturiser or something like that.
You've been doing skincare?
Barely. If you look at the blackheads on my nose, it's insane. I hope this close up ain't too close up. And a derma roller. Derma roller, not too often. If it's the smaller meals, a couple times a week, if not once a week. Get that puppy on, it will come in a bit better. That's my advice. There you go.
Okay, Daddy.
No worries.
Oi, oi. Honestly, it's looking good. You're looking great.
Thank you, Haz.
The muscles are muscling. You're like a little seafood over there. It's lovely to see. Jordan Banjo, thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
Everybody make sure that you subscribe to YouTube. Jordan, tell them.
Like, share, subscribe. By the way, if you don't, I'm taking away my advice. There's no derma rollers for you. Do it right now, please. Thank you.
No derma rollers for you. Jordan Banjo!
Hey!